G'day guys, my name is Lord Tomo here again with another Sonic the Hedgehog first for figure, statue review. This is obviously Sonic the Hedgehog, and I try to find a plushie which more or less coincides with obviously Super Sonic, but I don't actually have one, so and I'm quite aware that there are obviously plushies out there, and being Christmas and all that, I figured it'll take too long to actually more or less order off eBay because I don't have any in the local stores here. And I figured I might as well just get this out of the way since, you know, bits and pieces here and there. Anyway, we'll put the little blue stars aside and get into the actual review itself. If my Tails or Knuckles first figure statues have anything to say, they tend to get quite lengthy, so let's get straight into it. Now, in the earlier stages, prior to obviously First 4figures releasing a whole bunch of stuff, they did make obviously a classic Sonic the Hedgehog, which more or less reviewed that. You can check it out. And this is the one that came after it. This is the Super Sonic Exclusive edition of First 4figure statues. There's a few pros and there's a few cons to this. So let's get into it. So first and foremost, this is the actual box itself. Like the Knuckles one, they did more or less play around with it, and they did more or less review obviously a picture of, you know, not Metal Sonic, Super Sonic, and you have obviously the icon First 4figures, and you have obviously what this is. Regretfully, and I will say this quite openly, regretfully, I did not get this from the actual website itself at the time. When I heard about this first coming out and I first heard about the actual website itself, I was more or less, you know, like ecstatic, but then I found out they were completely sold out and I could only get it on eBay. I say that because there's a few things that popped up in my statue which I wasn't too much of a fan of, and look, to be honest, if there is a different one more or less that it's going to come out, you know, no Metal Super Sonic, but if there's another one off eBay, maybe, I don't know, or private seller who wants to obviously sell, you know, the statue, I'll probably be inclined to buy it. It is extremely rare, but anyway, we'll get into it. It's not First 4figures at all. The packaging was alright. I got it from obviously an eBay seller in the US, and obviously the US has an apparent way of messing around with postage. I don't know. Obviously the standard fragile sign, and arrow pointing up, Super Sonic, and at the time I got 334 out of, I think it was about 500 in the world. Around the side, as you can see, Express Now, standard stuff, just the standard, nothing too crazy there. Obviously that's the postage, that's the other side, and that's the top, and that's the thing. Now, being this is an early stage of the First 4figures packaging, their packaging wasn't as grand as it is now. Their packaging now is superb, absolutely awesome. What it was then, I guess, was it auto red. They never had any cardboard lining to add that extra cushion. Obviously, I have the item outside, I will show you that, but they never had it. The actual, you know, box itself just slid in. There wasn't any plastic, there wasn't anything, it was just slid in. That's pretty much it. At the time, obviously, you know, what did you expect, sort of thing. Now they package it superbly, and they brought out this masterpiece, which is the exclusive edition Super Sonic 15-inch collectible statue. And mind you, this is massive. As you can probably tell, it can't fit exactly into my, you know, my cam here, but I'll make do with what I have. Obviously, this is the picture. This is Super Sonic. You have obviously the standard, which is checkered, the name Sonic the Hedgehog thing. What I found weird and obviously different is this little thing. I don't get it, to be honest, but it's there, I suppose. Yeah, First 4figures icon. Let's move this puppy around. You have obviously its various other pictures there, and at the very back you just have a small, I guess, capsule. What happened when Sonic collects 7 Chaos Emeralds? He can only mean one thing: time to go Super Sonic. His ability in this form far surpasses his normal ones, etc., etc. If you want, you can pause it, read through it. Kudos to you. The actual artist is Goran Sandovic, if I pronounced that right. I don't think I have. The product number is 334, and that's more. So that's that. Generally, it's okay. The overall packaging, yeah, it's a nice collector's piece. Let's open this thing up and we'll go through the nitty gritty. One feature I do like to add is on the actual corners here, if you can tell, it's got the actual 7 Chaos Emeralds. Nice little attention to detail. I love that. I really, really, really do. let's see if I can get this out in one hit. Okay, we're going to put this box out on the side. Obviously this statue has been opened before. No secrets behind that. I've had this for I think 2 years now. Already you have what it is, Supersonic. You have its little card there. I will show you. Now, back then, what I had now is like a little cellophane of sorts, a little plastic stick which can close up. This one at the time only had plastic, which is alright. Once again, sell it to First4figures. You got an authenticated card. You can do this on the online on their website, which is pretty nice. And you have what it is, Supersonic. Adorable. It is definitely a bonus, of course. It's always a bonus. On the side, nothing on the back. It has obviously the picture of Supersonic. I find this pretty cute. The attention to detail. Take this puppy out, and we have Super Sonic, which is awesome. So ideally this is how it's more or less meant to come out, or come out at the time. Now you won't notice it now, but I will show you of course in time. But this is how it's meant to come out. Now this is what makes it exclusive. The statue itself obviously is pretty awesome and rare within itself. What makes it exclusive is this actual base itself. So we'll go through the base first, because to be honest I actually like this statue a lot, like really a lot, more than I've expected at the time. Basically this is from Chemical Plant if I'm not mistaken, which is very nostalgic in its own way. I wasn't even showing you in the cam. Very well attention to details in all the grooves and whatnot, including these little bulbs, which is alright. What makes it Chemical Plant is obviously the bottom and the top middle. Now I'm pretty sure the thinking, and obviously these are the spikes that's more or less going to come out. I will show you the gimmick as well. Basically the gimmick is these things just glow and ecstatics as if it's pulsing through. Now a little fun fact, if anybody plays the original Sonic the Hedgehog of DOS, or number 2, let's bring it in as close. Number 2, it is possible to actually become supersonic in the first two acts. Now ideally what I'm thinking I went for is, it is tough to do in the first 2 acts, but it is possible, provided that you get all the little bulb things and complete it successfully. But I'm pretty sure most people they became supersonic in the chemical zone, which at the time I didn't, because I sucked at the time. But anyway, at the very base you can actually see how it kind of more or less transpires, and kind of like how would you, it's kind of like a gradient effect, if you can really see that. Well, that's that. We're going to put this aside for now, and we're going to take out the batteries. These are obviously the batteries. They always supply you with batteries for any real gimmick, which I think is a major bonus. Bear with me guys, I'm just going to put the batteries in, and maybe I'll give you another little trivia. Supersonic first appeared in Sonic the Hedgehog 2, and boy was he fun to play with and extremely hard to play with in ways inconceivable. And yep, there's the batteries. Now I'm going to take out my Supersonic. Now with my Supersonic, initially for whatever reason the nose popped out, and I was like, oh, got myself a dud. However, for whatever reason, due to the heat here, I think it melted in perfectly, and I was actually going to fix it with super glue, but however when I popped it back in, it was perfectly fine, which I think is a major beautiful bonus. Now at the time they obviously tried to put this in the best superb detail possible. Okay, there's a reason why we're actually carefully. First and foremost, we're gonna move this aside. This is his actual back. Weird that I would start like this, but this is his back. Basically, as per normal Supersonic, his spikes do go up more or less like a Super Saiyan. I'm not too sure if his bottom ones should go up or they weren't going up. I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure they should have. I don't know, I'll have to look into it. And that's his little tail there, which is extremely adorable. Personal little, preference is if his head popping out that way, like towards the camera, but this is alright. Across the side, we're gonna be extremely careful because I'm probably gonna show you the second floor this one has, is obviously his front. Now this is, it's not made out of die cast. What was it made out of? Polyester, maybe, I don't know. And this is his actual head. What I love about this Supersonic, to the point where I might even decide to get another one, who knows, might or might not, is his actual face. Look how serious and badass he looks. Now if you ever watched the Tails review, you will notice that this bottom part of the torso is more or less similar to it. Of course they changed things around, which is a pretty alright. Now I'm going to show you this. I'm not entirely sure. Do you see like there's like a little line there? Now I'm not too sure how that... it really annoys me, to be honest. But pretty much if you look closely, there's like a little line. I'm not too sure if this is caused by the heat or anything, but it is obviously showing its wear and tear to that extent. And it's, these things are extremely, for whatever reason, hard to maintain, I guess, with most statues really. But for the overall marksmanship of this design, I'm extremely impressed. I'm pretty sure they would have put this in a furnace or whatnot. But that's his obviously shoes and buckles, very retro, very, very adorable. And obviously you have his bear. Overall design and sculpt, superb beyond ways uncomparable. In my personal opinion, they really captured the essence of a Supersonic, to the point where you can actually see the finer details of his fist, as well as, if you look closely, his actual little mark on the thing, how it kind of embeds itself and makes him look pretty badass. But per usual, we are going to show you the gimmick, which is, my personal opinion, the best thing ever. Now this has always been so annoying to put on. I don't know why it's been so hard to put on. Oh, gently, gently. Basically you meant to slide his shoes into the actual crevices of the actual spike. There we go. And that is how it's done. Alright, let's put this aside for now. This is Metal Sonic in all its glory on his actual little base. It is extremely, obviously this is not a flat surface, but it is somewhat pretty much front heavy, and that kind of is concerning for me, because if you have little kids around, it might definitely, instead of spinning this, I'll just spin this around. And yeah, so you can already see the effect of the spikes coming out. Now pretty much this is the actual, what makes it exclusive, his actual base. This sold me when I first wanted to get this statue. I was just like, this is impressive beyond anything that I've ever seen. It basically kind of insinuates him sparking through and going through pretty much back speed. Now if anybody knows anything about obviously Sonic, whenever it becomes why do I say that? Whenever it becomes Supersonic, he basically is meant to lean forward, kind of like this effect, to insinuate that he's going to max speed. I guess this is trying to insinuate both the startup period and obviously the beginning period, where basically I'll just turn off the light and talk as well, so you can have a better view. Oh, this is so beautiful how it just closed. So it's meant to have like a startup period where he's meant to like smack into Supersonic, Supersonic, and then pretty much accelerate forward and go beyond all speeds in that essence. Now I'm not entirely sure. There's also another one where he's basically, and that's where it happens when you start dying down. So is it impressive? Definitely. Is it worth a catch? Definitely. Now the thing that annoyed me, of course, is obviously the nose coming off, which seemed to have fixed itself from the heat in Australia. And there's a small crack that's just appeared just in his arm. His arm hasn't fallen off, it's just a small minute crack. I don't know if this is common with most First4figures stitches, depending on the chromatic tool change. I'm aware that when you do make statues of anything of that nature, it does have a tendency of basically, when you make statues, it needs heat. So I'm not too sure, on those sort of things. Now at the time, as I said, you could have gotten a First4figures at the time for like about $250, if I'm not mistaken. It's sold out now, of course, so it's rare now. I'll probably spike up the rarity, but at the time I got it for like $500, which is literally double for what it was worth when it was first released on First4figures. Obviously at the time I didn't know about the website. When I did find out, I was like too late. I had to get it off eBay, sort of thing. And do I regret getting it? Not at all. I do not regret getting this at all. I'm just checking out the crank, guys. Would I ever regret it? Definitely not. It's a nice, definitely piece. Would I buy a different one or another one if they ever release one? Definitely. This is definitely worth a catch, in my personal opinion. My advice to you guys, if you ever do decide to buy yourself First4figures statues outside of the website, just to have them, just to check if it's completely 100%. If somebody's trying to resell their obviously old First4figure, metal Sonic tails, whatever, just tell them to take closer pictures around any areas of the statue itself, just to see if there's any marks, in that sort of stuff. But look, it's a nice collector's piece, definitely worth its price. Obviously, as I mentioned, I bought it for $500 or up. Rarity, this is definitely maybe 8 stars out of 10. It's the prices are going up for whatever reason. All First4figure statues tend to price go up gradually. Now, where can you buy it? Obviously, you can't buy it off from the website anymore. It is pretty much limited, pretty much sold out and whatnot. So you're gonna have to go through auction websites or private sellers. Definitely worth a try. And look, guys, I do appreciate it if you do like this review. I did obviously release this a little sooner, kind of a Christmas present for you guys if you ever decide to buy yourself a Super Sonic. And I figured kind of a Merry Christmas, guys. Here's a new review for you, opposed to doing a weekly basis. Guys, I do appreciate it if you obviously like this Super Sonic. I thoroughly enjoy it. Like, come on, you can't go wrong with Super Sonic, really. You can't. I don't think you can. Unless you're one of those Dragon Ball fanboys that are like, oh, he copied Dragon Ball, Goku. Yeah. Well, Goku, we all know he's a loser, simply because he's always winning every battle and there's no real struggle battle. It's always, anyway, that's a whole different ball game. Guys, thank you for watching, and I do hope you have a very, very good Merry Christmas. Take care, guys, and peace out.